Good day, children. Today we are going to discuss about the Science 1 guidelines. There are certain pointers which you all should know about this. So let me quickly give you a glance through what are those pointers that we are going to discuss. सबसे पहले we'll be talking about the paper pattern. Then we are going to go to the chapter-wise weightage. Then also we'll discuss the time management. And yes, the most important, the general instructions related to the specific chapters. So are you all ready? So you can just take your book and a pen ready and let's try to jot down the important points. So here we go, one by one. So let's talk about the first point, that is paper pattern. So how exactly your Science 1 question paper is going to look like? So here we go. The very first question is bifurcated into two sub-questions, I would say. One is question 1A and the other is question 1B. So question 1A has got 5 questions. They are primarily MCQs. Okay, so this is going to be a very easy question. So you have to just attempt those 5 questions, that's it. But question 5B, if you see, here you are not going to have any kind of a fill in the blanks, but these are going to be a very short questions. Like how you have attempted name the following, answer in one word. So these type of questions you are going to get in this. So this is what you have in question 1. Proceeding further, like question 1, even question 2 will be bifurcated into 2 subparts. One is the question 2A, which is give reason, and the other is question 2B, which is attempt any 3 out of 5. Now, question 2A, if I have to speak, you have to attempt 2 questions and both of them are the give reasons. Now, you are going to get 3 questions in that, and out of those 3 questions, you are going to solve any 2. So quite obvious, तीनों का तीनों तो फिजिक्स का क्वेश्चंस हो नहीं सकता, ना ही तीनों का तीनों केमिस्ट्री का हो सकता. So the common sense is कि कम से कम एक क्वेश्चन तो फिजिक्स का होना ही चाहिए या फिर एक क्वेश्चन केमिस्ट्री का होना ही चाहिए. So this is how a general bifurcation is. You have to attempt any 2 out of it. Similarly, talking about question 2B. Question 2B also more or less the same kind. You will be having 5 questions in that, and out of which you have to attempt any 3. Again, the same logic. Minimum 2 questions you are going to get from physics or from chemistry. So I hope this question 1 and question 2 is clear to everyone. ये पूरा pattern दिमाग में बैठ गया. So it is very important to know how the paper pattern is, because that will help you to strategize all the chapters. Proceeding ahead, let's talk about question 3. Now, when you reach the question 3, you have almost solved half of the paper. Now, question 3, if you check, that's the most lengthiest question, I would say, because here you have to attempt 5 questions. But having said this, you also have got enough of flexibility. You will be getting 8 questions in that, and out of those 8 questions, you are supposed to solve 5. So again, normal bifurcation की अगर मैं बात करूं, तो 4 questions physics के होने चाहिए उसमें और 4 questions chemistry के होने चाहिए. Rarely it may happen कि you may get the ratio 5:3. लेकिन अगर ऐसा हुआ तो you will never get 5 questions of chemistry and 3 of physics. It will be always 5 of physics and 3 of chemistry. But then जहां तक इतने पेपर्स का जो देखा है, पिछले पेपर्स का, प्रीवियस पेपर्स का, so उसमें ये देखा गया है कि normally they bifurcated into half, 4 from physics and 4 from chemistry. So this is what question 3 is all about. Talking about the last question now, question number 4. It will have 2 questions, and here strictly you will find 1 question of physics and 1 question of chemistry. Now, out of these 2 questions, you have to solve only 1 question. So this is how your entire paper pattern is going to look like. So you can just have a go through of the entire paper pattern, how it is. So just to sum it up in a nutshell, 4 questions रहेंगे. Question 1, 10 marks. Question 2, 10 marks. Question 3, 15 marks. And question 4, 5 marks. So I hope, my dear children, the paper pattern is ready in your mind. And let me tell you, children, not just the science one, but you should also have the entire paper pattern literally fixed in your mind. So as far as science one concerned, this is the paper pattern. Now let's proceed further. How exactly the next point is. The moment you have the idea about the paper pattern, let us see the chapter-wise weightage. Now, when I say chapter-wise weightage, it is obviously an approximate weightage. Not necessarily it should have that much weightage only. Like for example, when I talk about a gravitation, तो gravitation it is of 3 marks, but ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 3 marks का ही पूछे. They can ask even a 5 mark question, children. Like in question number 4, you remember question 4 is of 5 marks. Now what they can do is they can club 2 questions from gravitation only. Like they can ask you as a part of a sub question, derive the formula for acceleration due to gravity. 2 marks का रहता है ये derivation. और उसके साथ they will tell you to write down the factors that affects acceleration due to gravity. And I'm sure children you must be aware there are 3 factors. तो वो derivation 2 mark का हो गया और वो factors 3 mark के हो गए, तो basically 5 marks का हो गया. अभी देखने के लिए यहाँ पे 3 mark का मैंने डाला है weightage, but then 5 mark का question generate हो गया. So this weightage जो है ना, this is just to give you the idea कि which chapter is important, more important I would say, because all chapters are equally important, but then which chapter to give the priority. So accordingly, if I just quickly give a glance to you, chapter 1 is of 3 marks, chapter 2 is of 4 marks, chapter 3 is of 4 marks again, chapter 4 is of 5 marks, chapter 5 heat is again of 3 marks, chapter 6 is 5 marks, chapter 7 is 4 marks, chapter 8 मेटलर्जी. अभी यहां से ना केमिस्ट्री शुरू होती है, तो मेटलर्जी की अगर हम बात करें, वो चैप्टर दिखता बहुत लेंदी है, लेकिन नॉर्मली उसमें 4 या 5 मार्क का क्वेश्चन आता है, नॉट मोर देन दैट. सो इफ यू चेक द लास्ट कॉलम, मार्क्स विथ ऑप्शन, इट इज नॉट मोर देन 6. Similarly, carbon compounds, a very important chapter, it comes for 5 marks, and space mission, the last one, it's of 3 marks. So again, you can have a quick glance on this entire chapter, and from this, you yourself can make out which chapter to give priority. वैसे all 10 chapters you have to study, but priority wise, you can just check yourself कौन से chapter को कितना practice करना जरूरी है. अभी इस 10 chapters के ऊपर अगर मैं quickly एक बात करूं, तो you will find there are 4 chapters of chemistry. Chapter number 2, chapter number 3, chapter number 8, and chapter number 9. These are the 4 chapters which are belong to chemistry, whereas remaining 6 chapters are of physics. तो अभी आपको याद आया रहेगा कि जस्ट 2 मिनट पहले मैंने क्यों बोला कि क्वेश्चन 3 में अगर 4 फिजिक्स और 4 केमिस्ट्री क्वेश्चंस नहीं आए तो 5 और 3 डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन रहेगा. दैट इज बिकॉज फिजिक्स का वेटेज ज्यादा है, केमिस्ट्री का वेटेज कम है. तो यू कैन मेक आउट फ्रॉम द इंडेक्स इटसेल्फ 60%, 6 chapters out of 10 are physics and 4 chapters out of 10 are of chemistry. So I hope it is clear till here. So far we have discussed 2 things. First, paper pattern we have discussed, and now we have discussed the approximate weightage. So I hope काफी हद तक आपको साइंस 1 का आइडिया आया रहेगा, अंदाजा आया रहेगा कि कौन से चैप्टर को कौन सा कितना प्रायोरिटी देना है एंड कौन से क्वेश्चंस में क्या क्या आते हैं, क्वेश्चन 1 से लेके क्वेश्चन 4 तक. नाउ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, टाइम मैनेजमेंट. Normally, we have a habit till 9th standard, you can say, that we go on writing the paper, and when invigilator says last 10 minutes, तब अचानक अपना ध्यान घड़ी पे जाता है and then थोड़ा सा घाई होता है. So to avoid that, children, always remember, you need to have an eye on your watch, and for that, most importantly, you should know how much should be the time taken for each question. I repeat, हर एक क्वेश्चन के लिए कितना टाइम देना चाहिए, वो भी आपका प्लानिंग जरूरी है. सो लेट मी हेल्प यू आउट विद दिस. जैसे क्वेश्चन 1A, which is MCQ that we have already discussed, you should give 10 minutes for that. Similarly, question 1B, वो भी ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन ही है, तो it will not take much time, and that also you can approximately give 10 minutes. Now, here let me say few things. The reason to give 10 minutes for the question 1 is, what happens, children, is when you get the paper in the hand, we are so excited that we, keep on reading the entire question paper. And in the process, we sometimes take little longer to read the entire question paper. Now, science 1 में शायद इतना तकलीफ नहीं आएगा. I'm sure by now you have practiced science 1 question paper few times. और मुझे नहीं लगता है कि साइंस 1 पेपर किसी का रहता है. आज तक मैंने तो नहीं सुना कि साइंस 1 पेपर वॉज लेंदी एंड आई कुड नॉट फिनिश. But this logic, remember children, especially for the paper like geometry or even language, what happens is in that excitement, children tend to solve some of the answers or some of the sums in their mind, and that takes little longer. तो say for example, मैं अगर प्लान करता हूं कि क्वेश्चन 1 अगर सिर्फ एमसीक्यू है तो वो तो मेरा 5 मिनट के अंदर हो जाना चाहिए. Yeah, it is possible. But if I keep it in my mind that I have to finish question 1A MCQ within 5 minutes, yeah, maybe less than that. And suppose by the time I finish that question 1A, it is almost 20 minutes. 11 o'clock your paper begins. And at 11:20, you finish that question 1A. Suddenly you get panicked. Then you recollect, अरे मैंने तो 5 मिनट प्लान किया था, लेकिन 11:05 को हो जाना चाहिए, 11:20 बजे. See the difference. Instead, if I have already allotted 10 minutes for the question 1A, और अभी 11:10 के जगह पे 11:20, still, I'm sure children you will not get panicked. So you have enough of time to cope up later on. So that's the key. So it is just a psychological difference, and I would suggest apply this logic for all the subjects. If possible, plan your time management in such a way that you always give little extra time in the beginning. Alright, so from that point of view, I have calculated the time. So for question 1, entire question 1, you can take 20 minutes. So question 1A should take 10 minutes and question 1B should take another 10 minutes. Similarly, question 2A, it should take 10 minutes because you have to only solve 2 questions over there. So roughly 5 minutes per question. Similarly, question 2B, you can take another 20 minutes. So if you just check 10, 20, 30 and 20, 50 minutes. So it's not even 1 hour children. And you have almost done half of the paper. Is it not? Question 1 or question 2 हो गया मतलब almost आधा paper हो गया आपका. So similarly, let's go for question 3. Now, question 3 is the most important question because there you have to solve 5 questions. And question 3 में you will find a variety of questions. उसमें आपको न्यूमेरिकल मिलेंगे, उसमें आपको शॉर्ट नोट मिलेंगे, उसमें आपको केमिकल रिएक्शन के बारे में क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे. सो यू हैव गॉट अ ह्यूज वैरायटी ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन दैट. सो डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन इज गोइंग टू टेक डिफरेंट अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम. सो रफली यू कैन हैव एन आई ऑन योर वॉच कि 8 मिनट पर क्वेश्चन के हिसाब से 5 क्वेश्चंस अगर आप सॉल्व करते हो क्वेश्चन 3 के, तो इट शुड टेक समवेयर अराउंड 40 मिनट्स, 40 to 45 मिनट्स. तो थोड़ा अगर आगे पीछे हुआ तो डोंट गेट पैनिक. नाउ कमिंग टू द लास्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. हियर यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट ओनली 1 क्वेश्चन. तो सिंस यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट ओनली 1 क्वेश्चन, इवन इफ यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग अ डायग्राम बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, ट्रस्ट मी चिल्ड्रन, 15 मिनट के अंदर हो जाना चाहिए. मैक्सिमम 15 मिनट दैट यू कैन स्टोर फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. So now if you add all these numbers, you are going to get comfortable time for rechecking your paper. So if you just calculate, you can just calculate right now also, quickly you can just go through it and you can find that you have given yourself at least 15 minutes to go through the answer paper. And let me tell you children, this is very, very important. Generally, I am sure you do not have a habit of going through the paper. But remember, this is a board exam. Once you give the paper, once you submit the paper to the invigilator, now nothing is there in your hand. It's gone. हो गया, paper हो गया. Till the time the paper is in your hand, you give yourself that opportunity to score that extra half mark. So try to go through the paper, check whether you have written the correct question number, check whether you have written the correct sub question number, check whether you have labeled the diagram properly, check we have just presented everything nicely. At the end, sometimes you may like to put the answer in the box, you may like to put the chemical reaction in the box. So all these things you can have a nice overview on your paper, on your own paper. So उसके लिए ना वो last में 10 to 15 minutes are very, very important. And remember children, apply this in all your subjects. Okay, so always keep 10 to 15 minutes buffer. Right? So overall, it's a 2 hours paper, 120 minutes, and you can now go through yourself. You can just finish this paper well in advance. And as I said, आज तक कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि साइंस 1 का पेपर किसी का रह गया हो. Alright? So let us proceed to the next pointer. These are the general instructions from my side. Just try to share certain tips. What care you have to take while attempting the answers from physics and chemistry. Now here onwards, I will not use the word science 1. I will prefer using the word chemistry and physics, because as we have discussed few minutes ago, you have certain lessons related to the chemistry and you have certain lessons related to the physics. The physics and chemistry both have their own set of rules, you would say, yeah, way of attempting the paper or answer, you would say. So that's the reason I would prefer using the word chemistry and physics. So just to have a quick recap, as we have discussed, see to it that you give yourself at least 10 to 15 minutes so that you can recheck your own paper, see whether you have drawn the diagram, flowchart draw किया है नहीं किया है, label बराबर से किया है नहीं किया है. So entire thing you should just cross check it. Okay, right. So let's proceed further. अभी यहाँ से एक important चालू होता है. Now these are some of the instructions which you should keep it in your mind, right? The very first thing is, जितने भी textual questions है, जितने भी exercise के questions है, you have to know all those answers. You cannot skip any question, because as far as possible, your question paper will be from the exercise only. This is what all the previous papers that we have seen through. तो generally जो भी question paper set होता है, at least science 1 का, वो ज़्यादा करके 90 to 95% I can say कि it will be from your exercise. So first and foremost, see to it that you have revised all your exercise questions. Right? Now, most important, prepare your MCQs, or I would say question 1. Remember question 1, 5 marks were of MCQs and 5 marks were of short answers. अभी इसके लिए textbook reading is required, no doubt, but at the same time, you should also prepare that question from the notes. Now here one point I would like to add, many times the children miss out on the journal. Remember, you all have one journal also, which you normally use it only in your school. But let me tell you, at least one question will always find from the journal MCQs. Journal के पीछे, हर एक experiment के पीछे बहुत सारे MCQ questions हैं, बहुत सारे objective questions हैं, and you are surely going to get at least one question from that. So journal go through करना भूलना नहीं during the exam, right? There are some paragraph based questions as well. तो from my side, let me suggest you some of the chapters. तो ये जितने भी पैराग्राफ बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं ना, वो ये चैप्टर्स में से आते हैं. यू कैन से फॉर एग्जांपल हीट का चैप्टर बोलो, वो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ हीट एक्सचेंज याद आया लास्ट पेज, या वो पैराग्राफ आता है जनरली. मैग्नेटिक इफेक्ट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक करंट, इट्स कंप्लीट थियोरेटिकल वन, सो यू आर बाउंड टू गेट द पैराग्राफ फ्रॉम दैट लेसन एज वेल. मेटलर्जी, येट अनदर थियोरेटिकल चैप्टर. स्पेस मिशन, refraction में generally you get a paragraph based on your rainbow, formation of the rainbow, mirage, etc. So these are some of the suggestions from my side. कि read, especially these lessons, you should read the textbook very thoroughly, because you are likely to have one paragraph based question based on it. Alright, so I hope till here you are getting it. Flowchart से related जो questions आते हैं, वो generally ये chapters में से आएंगे. So you are going to get carbon compounds, you are going to get classification of elements, then space mission का वो table अगर याद होगा, satellite से related information है जिसमें. So those are the chapters basically from which you can get flowchart related questions or the table related questions, you can say. Question simple आता है, complete the following table, and they give certain information is missing, so that you have to complete it. You have to draw the table the way it is there in the question paper, and then you have to just fill up those missing informations. That's it. Alright, moving further. Normally children try to go through the unsolved numericals, जो exercise में numericals है वो. लेकिन एक बात बता दूं, especially chapter number 4 जो है effects of electric current, ये chapter में से ना solved examples के numericals ज्यादा आते हैं. Like if I have to tell, gravitation generally देखा गया है कि exercise में से ही आता है numerical, लेकिन chapter 4 जो है उसमें से solved examples से numerical आने का chances ज्यादा रहता है. Chapter 6 is again a mix. Heat में again you will get everything from the exercise. Lenses, it's again a mixed one. But then bottom line is, for every chapter, it's better to practice all the solved numericals as well as unsolved numericals. So I hope these instructions, you are noting it down, you are underlining the key points in it, you are maintaining a book in which you can mention these key points, and whenever you are going through this subject, just please keep on going through the instructions as well. That will help you to recollect whether you have done this or not. You can have your own checkbox. ये मैंने किया, ये बाकी है, ये किया है, and accordingly you know how to prepare. Otherwise, एक point ऐसा आता है ना कि ऐसा लगता है कि अरे बहुत पढ़ लिया, you know, the saturation level आ जाता है and we get completely bored. और वहां पे हो सकता है आप छूट जाओ and then the competitors can go ahead of you. So in order to stay there, to keep your tempo high, these are certain things which you should always remember. That's it. So I hope you must have gone through this entire instructions right from paper pattern to the time management, the approximate weightage, and I'm sure you will make a note of all these things and accordingly plan your Science 1 studies, your portion. And yes, I think that's it from my side. So on the behalf of your entire team of the target, we wish you all the best for your board exam. If you have any kind of a problem, do write to us. The email ID is given here, so you can anytime contact us and we are there for you. Thank you so much.